Hey!
Hello there!
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Hello
Welcome to Club Star Wars. Very exciting, interesting show coming up for you tonight with a special guest. I believe we've already had a comment in from him, so he's obviously getting warmed up on social media there. So, little comment in from Ruin the Man Baby. Looking forward to educating you, man babies, on the greatest of all Star Wars movies, The Last Jedi.
Well,
there you go.
Wow.
As you know, he's a very, very modest director. Going over to Twitter for a minute, this didn't actually come up on our stream. I think this was because it was a couple of comments on Ruin's Twitter account there. Somebody called Alexander. Like, if you guys hate The Last Jedi so much, you could just talk about a different Star Wars movie. What's your favorite? Well, I'm sure we can get into that later on. But, you know, we do talk about other Star Wars movies. We talk about we talk about all of the Star Wars movies. Some of them, you know, less than others. But yes, so Ruin will be joining us in a couple of minutes. We're going to be speaking to him. And then during our fan focus segment that you've seen us present a couple of times of late, we'll be bringing in another guy called Anthony to talk about some of his fandom, and then you know, his favorite sides of Star Wars, etc. And then to finish up, I believe Ruin will be coming back to challenge both of us to a duel of sorts.
Ooh.
For the Man Baby Challenge.
Where's my paper bag?
So, if you remember, Matt, I was listening to this today, actually, as I was doing a bit of driving around, and I couldn't believe how long it had actually been since we were on Anthony's Phantom Menace show. That was his audio podcast. It was November 2019. Which
seems like yesterday.
It does.
When things were normal.
When things were normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we were on that particular show, Anthony did Ruin did the first version of the Man Baby Challenge with us. Admittedly, we did have a little bit of advantage, didn't we, Matt? Because
there was two of us.
Yes, we tackled him as a duo, as it were. Yeah. Obi-Wan and Anakin versus Darth Ruin, and we actually didn't get a question wrong.
Oh, it was a full streak, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, we got 100% out of 100%. So
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it could mean that we're shills now. I don't know, but because we loved his film so much. But yes, we did actually become, I believe, the undefeated reigning champions of the Man Baby Challenge. So we're looking forward to taking it on again.
Yeah.
So we'll obviously as well. We'll probably fit in a little bit of Star Wars news too. There's not been loads going on, has it? It's been relatively quiet.
It's been relatively quiet because, well, I've not checked today, but apparently Star Wars hasn't been tweeting or posting anything to social media since 1st of April. So they've gone radio silent.
That's a bit strange.
They're posting news on their website. That's it.
Yeah, they're not doing the socials.
Well, no. Yeah.
Is that because they're just sick of all the comments?
All the downvotes and probably. Yeah, I mean they're getting completely ratioed on YouTube. Yeah,
they are. But I mean, this all kind of came out of the. Well, they've ignored a few people, haven't they? On
it's bizarre
as well.
Yeah,
a few important people, you know,
very important people.
They didn't
Star Wars. Yeah,
they didn't do James L. Jones's birthday. They didn't do Billy D's, did they? I think
The British Star Wars Twitter account apparently wished him happy birthday, but the main US
Who?
one,
Wish who?
Billy.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. So I've heard, but yeah, the American one, nothing. Strange.
Very strange. Hang on, we've got a comment here coming from Kate Rose. Did you all see that someone is adapting KOTOR into a miniseries using Unreal Engine? Did you know about this?
No, I did not. I've not seen that anywhere.
You can translate that. You can translate that for me.
KOTOR. Well, KOTOR is Knights of the Old Republic.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm not. I'm not as up on the EU.
On the well, Knights of the Old Republic with the video games from the early 2000s. I guess very good games, very good story. I mean, it's Star Wars through and through, and yeah, they should be making them into a movie/TV series at some point. Not this woke High Republic stuff. It's where characters are rocks and shit.
Well, we shouldn't talk about that because last time we discussed the wonderful rock character, my internet went off and we weren't able to. I'm not saying it was connected. Not saying it was connected, but that was certainly the chronology. So Kate's on to say it's some channel called Unreal Cinema.
Wow. Okay. I have to look out for that.
Yeah, we shall certainly check that out. Yes, I mean there's been a bit of news. There was somebody who wasn't there somebody who took to Reddit. This is where I mean we're going to get into this news later on, but an alleged current Lucasfilm employee.
Yeah, this is a pinch of salt scenario.
Okay, well, pay us a little bit of that scenario.
Yeah, well, somebody's gone on Reddit claiming to be an employee of Lucasfilm when the sequel trilogy was being made, and it looks like they're defending JJ to the hilt. So it could be someone who is ex Bad Robot or something like that, if it is legit,
Okay.
So, I think can we bring that up later on the share screen? Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can certainly bring that up later.
We'll have a look at that. What's the E?
The man moves on to say, "What's the E?" Well,
it's the European Union.
Well, perhaps come on and join us, Ruin, and we can discuss these matters. I know that. I don't know. I don't think Ruin Johnson has ever been on a Star Wars podcast, has he? I think he may have been on a cinema podcast talking about Knives Out, but I'm not sure about a Star Wars podcast. So this could well be a first. A first indeed. So obviously you've if you haven't heard of Ruin Johnson, then you're gonna find out pretty shortly what he's all about. But he can be found on Twitter at Ruin the Man Baby, and you can also find him on YouTube. And there's some excellent videos there, including a couple of songs, which I think you'll enjoy.
Oh yes.
So how's your week been going in general, Matthew?
Well, it's a school holiday, so it's all about entertaining the kids, isn't it?
Back to square one again.
Back to square one again. Yeah. So yeah, she's keeping up a diary of what she's doing during the week. Oh, but not up to much because there's been a bit of bugs floating around the house. Not COVID.
Not again. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So we're okay. We've been tested.
I don't need to wear my mask.
No, you're all right there. But everybody's feeling a bit brighter today. So I took the oldest out, my 7-year-old, out for a walk today in the countryside, and yeah, it's been a good day for it. So how about you?
Good. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, pretty good. Getting around and doing a bit of this and that. All good. I was thinking about obviously Lucasfilm news. As I say, there's not been massive amounts on the actual Star Wars front, but there was certainly a fairly important announcement from my point of view. The Indiana Jones announcement was made official.
Oh yes,
Wasn't
that's
it?
right.
Before the
Yeah.
weekend. Now,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I don't know how to take this, because of course they've come on, they've said Harrison Ford back, of course. John Williams back, of course, very exciting, particularly for Andy. Hello, Andy. And they've announced a new female actress who's going to be joining the cast. And immediately, like, the internet just went into complete meltdown
Yeah.
that Indiana Jones is becoming woke, and I think
That's
it's a
the
little.
fear. That's a fear, but
I think that's a fear factor, but I think
my advice is watch it and then judge it.
yeah, I think people are getting a little bit worked up too early, aren't they? Possibly
Yeah. I
about
mean, it's
this.
the fear is there, and the fear is real because it's coming from the same Lucasfilm that has been giving us all this other stuff, which some of it's okay, some of it isn't, and it's hard to know, isn't it? What you're going to get.
It is.
So
yeah. So wait and see.
Wait and see.
Ruin has been on to say L337. L337, of course, would be. Isn't that my favorite Star Wars robot?
Droid rights.
Yes. R2, me too. My favorite Star Wars character.
R2, me too.
So, Ruin, if you're out there listening, we give you your dramatic introduction now and bring you into the show. I'm preparing to play your intro here. I'm hoping that he's going to be joining us backstage in a couple of seconds. Colin was on to say, Indy 5, fingers crossed they'll deliver an awesome film. They ain't done a bad job so far.
True. Well, yeah. Fourth one's got a few dissenters.
Yes.
Personally, apart from the character of Mutt, I didn't mind it too much, but it's got its moments.
It's got its plus points. It's definitely got its moments. Yeah. So we shall just wait and see what happens there. I'll tell you what. Let's just dive into a little bit of Star Wars news before we introduce our special guest. Here we go. A little bit of Star Wars news. So here's a little one thing about these websites, they're just full of pop-ups. So here we go. I'm just going to share screen here for a second. Let's take a quick look at this article from Tech Radar. This is about a bit of lightsaber work here.
Oh.
Here's how Disney's rumored retractable Star Wars lightsaber could work. Does this mean we get the dream? Is this the dream? Is this the dream of having a real working lightsaber? Okay. Yeah. Ask any Star Wars fan if they'd love to own a functional lightsaber one day, and you'll be greeted by an empathetic yes straight away. Wielding a weapon that could cut through any material apart from another lightsaber would be dangerous, but it seems that we've moved a step closer to this reality, not from a cutting everything in your path perspective, but from a real functioning lightsaber. You haven't kept up with Star Wars news. Fans of the galaxy far, far away have collectively lost their mind last week after Disney reportedly showed off a working lightsaber. According to multiple reports, including Collider and IGN, Disney showed off its new creation during a special look inside Disney Parks press conference. Holy smoke. Attendees at the press conference, such as Carl Weisel and Disney Parks chairman Josh Amaro, revealed the functioning lightsaber in the final moments of the presentation and confirmed that it's real. Oh my goodness. Later that day, Nexstar employee Scott Gustin took to Twitter to post images of the lightsaber's supposed patent. The images seem to show how Disney has managed to create a retractable lightsaber using a drivetrain made up of cogs and a metallic chain, as well as a motor, tensioner, and blade spools inside the lightsaber's handle. The result looks like the closest thing yet to the lightsabers wielded in those many, many Star Wars movies. Wow.
Cool.
That's pretty exciting. That's if it's true. Do you remember that? Do you remember that thing quite some time ago, where they said that they'd invented the hoverboard, and Christopher Lloyd did the advert and everything, and everyone was so excited about it, and it turned out to be a really massive, elaborate hoax.
Yeah,
like a mainstream hoax. Really strange.
Yeah, I do remember.
Anyway, going over to the comments, I think. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say with that lightsaber, I've seen some of the blueprints for that. And it does look like it could be legit. It's using LED lights on a spool, I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be cheap. Ruin was sat waiting in the wrong room, he tells me, so he's now backstage in our green room. So we're going to introduce him in a second. Let's just get back over to the comments. So
where's Roundhead?
It's just me. I was just to say, where's Roundhead? I have some choice words.
Don't worry.
He'll be with us. Andy was on to say Crystal Skull is not the abomination it's made out to be.
No,
very true.
I don't think so either, Andy.
Indeed, the only real issue I have with CS is the monkey swinging scene. Yes, it was poor. Yeah. Very, very poor. Indy 4 is still arguably the best modern sequel of the 80s classic franchises. Look what's happened to Terminator, Aliens, Predator, Robocop, Conan, and endless list of crap sequels. True. Very good point there, Colin. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to introduce our special guest. We're very honored that he has come down from his golden tower to join us on a tiny little YouTube
come down from orbiting the sun.
So let's introduce our special guest. Welcome to Club Star Wars. Ruin the man baby.
Hello, man babies. Man baby Paddy. Man baby Matty. Good to see you. Cheers.
Excellent.
Good to see you, Ruin. Cheers.
Cheers.
Just celebrating progress with my trilogy.
Yes, well, of course, we're going to ask you about that in a couple of minutes. But I wanted to go back to the beginning in some ways, Ruin, and just get a little bit of information on your background there. So, how old were you when you realized that you wanted to become, or that you would become, one of the world's greatest directors?
Well, obviously, talent such as mine you're born with, but I was rather young, especially. Well, let me tell you, I was very young when I got into Star Wars. I must have been about 38, and I watched. I think I watched one of the first movies, one of the Ewok movies, I think it was. And at that point, I felt fully qualified to write a Star Wars movie. And Kathy actually, should point out, I don't know if you can see, Kathy got me this rather lovely tankard. And if you can't read it, it says, "Can't bear to be without you." So there we go.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think that's kind of reflects the whole thoughts and feelings of the fandom. So there we go.
So yes, so quite late then, quite late. So and Ruin, who was your kind of guiding light in a way? Who would your, other than yourself, of course, who would be your favorite director? Would you say?
Favorite director? Let's see. So you hear names like Kurosawa, and there's lots of really names that I've heard but never ever watched the movies of. But who would I say? I'd probably say my hero in all of moviedom is I would have to say J.J. Abrams. Why not? J.J. Abrams. You've got to give it to the guy. You know, when I asked him to tailor the ending to his movie so it segued into mine, he came up with the goods, and then he did disappoint me a little bit in The Rise of Skywalker, but never mind. No one's perfect.
Yes.
Well, he disappointed a lot of people.
He did. Well, you did. You did create a rather nice ruins. He did create a rather nice ruin sandwich, didn't he? There, two JJs on one side and a ruin in the middle.
Yes, JJ was the rather dour tasting bread, and I was that delectable Marmite filling in the middle.
Definitely.
A turd burger of sorts, some might say.
Well, some might
Just
say.
like Marmite, you either love it or hate it.
There you
Yes, I when I make a sandwich, I want half the people to hate it and half the people to love it. That's my general approach to things.
Quite right. So, sorry, go on, Matt.
I was going to say, when you were making the Last Jedi, with Luke Skywalker's character, did you have any other humiliating scenes for him that ended up on the cutting room floor, or it didn't seem like there was enough?
In the movie.
Interesting you should say that, Matty, because I actually gave a little reveal on my Twitter account recently about a cutscene from the movie, and it was actually to do with Luke's death. Now, some man babies complain about killing Luke off, but originally it didn't pan out like it did in the film. So my original vision was as Luke is on the rock and he's using his force powers to project, and it's tiring him out, and just as he's about to fade away into the ether, a porg flies above his head and shits right on top of his head. And at that, just as he's looking up, and it dribbles down his beard, mixes with the green milk, and at that point he fades. And of course, as you full know, however you finish in the real life, you take with you into Jedi form. So Luke would have spent the rest of eternity with porg shit on his head. And,
Perfect.
That was my vision. For some reason, I got shot down on that one, but never mind.
You mean Kathy didn't like that? Kathy didn't like that.
No, Kathy was all for it, but I don't know. Some people have problems with it. Mark wasn't too happy. I don't know why.
So one of your great friends, Ruin, has been on to just say good evening to you, and of course that's Brian Young.
Brian.
Not Brian Young. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Well, see, Brian is like rather awkwardly. He's on my lawn at the moment, so he's in the chat, but he's also. Well, hello, Brian. Yes, please go. You've been there for 4 years. You need to disassemble a tent and crawl out of my arse, please, Brian.
Yeah, don't you find it a bit creepy, Brian Young, with what he tweets about you all the time?
Yes, what's rather annoying is when you go through your mentions in Twitter, and 98% of them are by Brian Young. It's you're trying to sift through, but anyway.
Has he actually asked you out on a date yet? So that's what I want to know.
Oh, we're actually on our third date, Matty. Just me and you. Yes, and we're waiting for obviously waiting for my trilogy to hit the cinema, so I can take him to the premiere. And
of course.
Well, that is very exciting. And can you tell us exactly in what stage we're at with the development of the very exciting Ruin Johnson Star Wars trilogy?
I was hoping you'd ask me. Okay, so as you know, it's been 4 years since The Last Jedi, and since I announced my trilogy is in the works. It's going to be a trilogy of films, and an interviewer asked me, and on the spot I gave him some bullshit line about, yes, I've got this vision for going into the past and creating new worlds and new characters. And obviously trilogy was announced, and then rather disappointed, Disney not so long back announced several projects, in fact about 20 different projects, and none of them are my trilogy, so I was rather annoyed about that. But I can now announce to all you man babies, you keep saying it's never going to happen, I can tell you right now, in fact, if you look at my arm, I'm wearing a bandage because of all the work I've been doing. I've got repetitive strain from all the typing away. So I can now tell you, ready for this? I've now completed the first line of the opening crawl. So Progress has been made. I've got it all panned out, and I can, if you'd like me to, I can reveal it to you if you want.
This will be a world's first. This is an exclusive for Club Star Wars.
Here we
Yes,
go.
please. Let's...
So, roll logo, and then the black and the stars and the tinkly music, and then the yellow text comes up. You can all picture it. The hairs on your arms are standing up, and then the first line on the crawl: Luke's dead. Exclamation mark. Luke's dead. Exclamation mark. There we
I'd
go.
say it's a very, very strong opening.
Anything less.
Yes, I knew you'd like it.
Thanks for that, Ruin. So just going over to the comments, this gentleman's finding us all rather amusing. Andy was on to say, so they just shit on Luke instead, which is true. Colin was... Yes, Colin was on to say, was the shitting porg not diverse enough?
Well, interesting, Colin. It was actually a non-binary porg, so I failed to mention that. So, it was gender neutral, and we had to get that in. So
that's good to have diversity in Star Wars, of course. So, 1 second ago, a long time ago in a galaxy, that's what you've opening. You fell at the first hurdle, Ruin. Surely those should have been your first words for the opening of the film before Luke is dead. Luke is dead. Long live the Broom Boy.
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. Yes.
Absolutely. Can we expect to see more from Broom Boy? In future Star Wars movies.
Yes. Well, my vision was to replace lightsabers with brooms. So, obviously they can use the same motion, and actually I had a very original idea where the hero of the movie has round spectacles, has a broom, he has a young male and female companion. They actually use magic, and they go to a school to learn the magic, and they fly on the brooms.
It sounds so original.
Wow. It's got legs, it's absolutely...
I think so, yeah.
No, it's getting a bit of deja vu. I'm not sure why, but but yes, I mean, let's see what happens. We're very, very excited. Have we got anything like a start shooting date or a release date of sorts for the first movie, or even a title?
Well, again, I can give you an exclusive. We have actually got a confirmed date for the first movie of the trilogy. It is the 22nd of Never. So put it in your diaries.
Wow.
22nd of Never. You're going to get the first in my trilogy. I can't wait.
Yes. This is coming after all your Netflix deals.
Yes, of course. Of course. I've got 15 Knives Out movies at 100 million apiece. So, yes. But no, definitely still making the Star Wars. Don't worry.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that.
Brilliant. Good to hear.
I'm not saying this name just because I'm a bit frightened of mispronouncing it, but before the Dark Times, before the Wokening, that could have been another opening title, I guess. So before I realised that you're very, very short on time, Ruin, and thank you for stepping down off your island, so to speak, to give us some time. But I just wanted to ask you before you go, what was it, do you think, that Kathy Kennedy and the minds at Lucasfilm and Disney saw as your greatest attribute as the director of what would become The Last Jedi?
Well, what a fantastic question. I mean, obviously we could go on for an hour talking about all my fine attributes. Some would say my in-depth knowledge of Star Wars lore. Some would say my ability to respect the original characters. We could talk about many, many things, but I would say undoubtedly, you all know what's coming here, man babies. It's the ability to subvert expectations.
Yeah,
they needed someone to come in and to fuck it all. Oops, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but I just did. Good, we're all good. And yes, obviously, I'm the master of subversion. And hey, you have to give me credit for one thing. I did indeed subvert everyone's expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
we're behind you all the way there, Ruin. You can see that in our little surround here on the program, we've even put the words subverting expectations.
There we go.
And,
I appreciate it.
And just to prove, as you have doubled down on proof for your subverting of expectations this evening, Better Call Maul was on to say that you have no laser eyes tonight. So I assume that is because you're subverting expectations, is it?
Yeah.
Indeed, and the batteries have run out, and there's many other things. But no, the actual reason is I've been working so hard on the trilogy, and the eyes have been burning deep into the small hours of the night. That yes, I'm a little bit tired. And then the other reason is I need to read a man baby quiz for you man babies later on, and I can't do it through red eyes. So
very excited about that. Yes. So well, we'll let you go, and I understand that you and Brian have having a barbecue or something along those lines, or maybe a couple
sausage sizzle out on the lawn.
Maybe a quick phone call with Chucky Wendig or something in between.
Yes, we're gonna share a virtual cup of soy with Chuck Wendig and a socially distanced barbecue. We're gonna chuck a couple of porg on the barbie, and me and Brian are going to
Garcia around, and sounds good.
Yes, we'll dress up as Admiral Holdo. We'll go nuts. It'll be fun.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Ruin, and we look forward to welcoming you back a little bit later in the program. But in the meantime, I've just got to prepare for us here the introduction for our next guest, who I understand is somebody that you have known quite well over the years, Ruin. But here we go. We'd like to move along with our fan-focused guest. As if by magic, Anthony Ergo appeared.
Hello there. How you doing?
Good.
You? Cheers.
Ruin's now left the building.
You're skipping down the road with Brian.
You're stuck with me. Yeah, he's gone straight back to work in his trilogy.
I imagine you had to do some extensive work to the doors in your house to allow him to move out of the room.
Yeah, we asked that he goes sideways to fit his ginormous round head through the door. Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning. Well, let's first of all say thanks for coming on, and
thanks for joining us. It's fantastic to have you on.
It is, and kind of a sort of return favor on joining your Fandom Menace show. Before we get into the history and stuff, I did just want to kind of ask you about. Obviously, you're still very, very active on the Twitter. But the Fandom Menace show and the YouTube stuff, you've not done as much recently. Is there a particular reason for that? You're working on other stuff, or?
Well, the truth of it is, I just haven't had the time really, but it's definitely something I want to revisit. I mean, I really enjoyed doing the Fandom Menace podcast, and for anyone who's missed it, and obviously you guys are on one of the episodes, I think we did a first season of about 8 episodes, and each one was with a different Star Wars fan. We had a mixture of really big, well-known characters like Ichibaka. We had Junkman on as well, and then
I was listening
we
to
had some
today,
other,
the Junkman one.
Yeah, we had some other lesser known people in the fandom, and from all over the world as well. It was really good. I mean, it was a challenge for me because being from your part of the world, I was having to stay up till sort of 3-4 in the morning to try and connect with
time zones,
people in Australia and America, and But no, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really proud of those 8 episodes. And what I'm most proud of is we get so much flack from, let's say, the other half of the fandom for being haters and trolls and everything else. But if you listen to those episodes,
it's good fun.
It's fun, and it's actually not, a lot of love for Star Wars, a lot of passion, a lot of love. We put the boot in on Disney, but that's a lot of people confuse it as in that's all we do, and it's
exactly
to be fair from the truth.
Yeah,
but I think to a certain extent, and obviously we'll get into this in a bit, but you know, having been a writer and stuff like that, I think shows like The Fandom Menace are trying to present. I don't know. Let me say, can I say journalism in its sort of original intent of
Yeah.
of yes, having opinions, but trying to present both sides of the argument.
It's lifting up the veil of what's, you know, what people are used to seeing on Twitter. You know, the Fandom Menace are full of hate. The Fandom Menace are this, that, and the other, ists, phobes, what have you. When you get a show like yours where you actually speak to these people, like one-on-one, you find out that none of it's true. They're just Star Wars fans who are a bit miffed about what Disney have been doing. Really, that's all it is. All there is to it.
Absolutely, yeah, and you know, I realized early on, doing the whole Ruin the Man Baby thing, and then the YouTube thing, and the podcast, I was never going to get any acceptance within the, you know, Disney badged Lucasfilm umbrella of approved podcasts or, you know, YouTube channels, and we know who we're talking about, but that wasn't important to me. The important thing for me was just being honest, and I think that's seriously lacking on the other side of the fandom. If you love what Disney are doing, great, and if you love what Rian Johnson did and a lot of the other things that's going on, fine, absolutely no problem with it. But don't have a go at people for being critical. I think that's important. That's how we get the best Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's I was critical of you know, the prequels, the Lucas things, the Lucas prequels, and you know, still to this day, although I've you know, I love certain elements of them, I'll still point out the flaws, you know. It's not black and white. I love everything Lucas and I hate everything Disney. Like, if we flip it, I thought the Mandalorian was great, and I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan. I really like Rogue One.
Same here.
So I'm, you know, it's not black and white. There's shades and there's grey and
nuance in there.
Yeah,
isn't there?
absolutely. Whereas it feels as though to sit in that half of the fandom, you're not allowed any critical opinion.
No.
It has to be all.
No, you're not. And as soon as you do criticize, you get like names thrown at you. You know, and why, I don't know. You know, it seems, but that sort of reaction seems to be all over the place at the moment. It's not just within the movie industry and fandoms. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, just to give you an insight, and I only say this just because, you know, I laugh it off most of the times, but the amount of times I've been called a racist doing the Ruin the Man Baby thing. I mean, my girlfriend's black. Not a lot of people would know that, and you know, I don't need to share it, but it just shows you how ridiculous it is.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
it is. It's absolutely
people make a judgment call, and just because I have a bit of fun and take the piss out of The Last Jedi, it makes me, you know, every name under the sun. But
I think that's kind of what's happened with social media to a certain extent, is that people know there are, for want of a better word, full stops that they can put into a sentence which closes down any form of discussion. And I don't think, you know, in a sense, many of these people are interested in a kind of discourse. You say something, they pick up on whatever it is, if you're taking the piss or just saying, you know, if say, for example, is a page where somebody's gone, and I'm seeing this a lot this week, I don't know what it is, and we're not going to get me started on a solo rant, but in these Facebook pages with people going, do you know what? I just rewatched Solo, and it's, you know, I think it's a really solid, great movie. And then all you've got is a selection of people agreeing with him, you know, like loads of, it was great, you know, blah, blah, blah. And there's probably just me going, it was complete shite. Let's not try and polish its head. But as soon as you do that, as the one dissenting voice,
you get pile on.
You're a racist. You're a
misogynist,
misogynist,
xenophobic.
Exactly.
So anti-feminist.
So that's the thing. I think these people are understanding there is a trigger point to completely close down any kind of discussion, or it's just simply block, you know, and
Oh yeah.
that's
Well, the amount of people when I chuck a tweet out as Ruin the Man Baby, the amount of people who sometimes it'll be in response to another tweet or I don't know what it might be, but the amount of people who say, "Oh, I've been blocked by this person. I've never interacted with them."
Yeah.
Because they're using these blockchain things now. So basically,
yeah.
if you're following me on Twitter, you're likely to have been blocked by hundreds of other accounts because they
Yeah, they
pass
just see
around these
who's following
blockchains.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
block
yeah,
block
and it's the
everyone.
same for a lot of the other sort of big accounts in the fandom menace. You know, if you're following them, you put on this blacklist, which is it's a bit pathetic. I mean, the most famous one is when Star Wars Explained did it, and they inadvertently end up blocking half of the YouTube subscribers, and they lost thousands of YouTube subs because their own fans they'd blocked. I mean, what they fail to realize is people can like what Star Wars Explained do and like what I do or what
Yeah.
Doomcock does or what Itchy Backer does or it
This is
doesn't
the
have
thing.
to be. Yeah.
People aren't that fundamentalist. Where the people controlling the narrative are like. I do worry about who's working at Lucasfilm. They are what you see on Twitter at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And how is that going to change? I mean, people complaining about it doesn't seem to work. People criticizing it doesn't seem to work because the people at Lucasfilm are the ones who are pushing this behavior in a way, if you know what I mean. So what is the answer?
I mean, you would think as a business, which is every business is about making money, you would think they would take stock and have a look.
Absolutely.
Where have we faltered here? And you only have to look at the merch. The merch sales have just dive bombed.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars was so strong in its merch sales. Not just the Star Wars line of figures, but I remember the Lego Star Wars back when the prequels were launched in the 90s and all the games, and it's just I know this here and there there's small smatterings, but in the main, and they need to ask why that is. Why fans feel alienated. And I think you guys mentioned it on a recent one of your recent shows about the comment section in some of the videos that they're posting, and they're getting ratioed to death, and this is fans wanting an outlet. This is fans wanting to say, look, we're not happy with what you're doing here, and not everyone. Some people are happy to consume the Disney product, but you've got to listen to your fans, and it's
I feel like Lucasfilm are, these fans who are complaining and saying, please give us something, please respect the characters that came before, please give us something that respects George Lucas's vision. The shutters come down at Lucasfilm. They don't want to know. And that's how it feels. And there is anger and frustration. And I was watching a video. Do you know Clownfish TV?
Yes.
I was watching one of their videos recently, and they were talking about the 5 stages of grief and how it's comparable in the fandom. Like, you've got the anger and depression and bargaining and all that sort, and then acceptance. And I think we're probably at a stage now of acceptance with a lot of fans where they're just saying, nothing's changing, I'm walking away. And I've seen people on Twitter, Itchy Backer's one, for instance, who just he's backed right off.
It's sad, isn't it? Because I mean, we're all roughly the same age-ish. We all kind of grew up our whole lives with Star Wars. We are decades-long fans, and when you get people similar to us who are kind of saying, I've lived and breathed Star Wars for 40 years, but I'm going to walk away now. That's so devastating for a company. It's so bad. Now, if there's been one moment,
like they want that as well. It's crazy. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say that if there's been one moment where we had, for the briefest time, almost a complete unity in the fan base, it was that Mandalorian episode where they briefly brought Luke back. And I know some people had issues or whatever with it, but for one moment, it just felt like everyone was just felt really emotional, and everyone got behind it. Now, open your eyes, Disney. That's
exactly.
Does that not say it all?
Ride that wave. Ride that wave. But
what happened?
Pablo Hidalgo. Soon after,
Yeah, I know you got stuck into Star Wars theory.
Buckets of cold Pablo piss was poured straight over that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I made a rather a rather fantastic, if I do say so, tribute to Pablo. If anyone wants to check it out, it's on the YouTube channel. A nice little parody song.
Oh yes,
for our Pablo, because he's been a pretty nasty figure.
Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
He does strike me as quite quite vindictive, really.
Well,
yeah.
Since we've kind of been talking about it, in terms of the fandom menace, and subscribers to our channel, by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to our channel. You can do so in the bottom there, and you can also follow Ruin on YouTube and on Twitter if you aren't already, of course. But we put a little video out, which was taken out of one of our live streams, where we did discuss, the fandom menace and kind of what it means to us, and what my thoughts were on its kind of origins in, back to like the fan cuts of like of the Phantom Menace. I think that was where it kind of started, but obviously it grew into a new thing. What has it represented to you? What does it represent to you? Kind of what's your feelings on its origins? And because we're obviously part of this community now. I remember Matt was talking to me about it when this term was coming about a lot more, and Matt was kind of like, we're in the Fandom Menace, and I was like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's when our logo was put onto a big sort of
that's it.
Yeah. You're on the hit list. So it's one of those things. People often sort of have tweeted me and said, how do I join the Fandom Menace? It's like, it's if you want to join, you're in. You don't need to and the other thing, again, a big misconception is to be in the Fandom Menace, you have to tick all these boxes. You have to hate Rian Johnson. You have to hate Disney. No, it's not true at all. We've got people within the Fandom Menace who love Force Awakens, and people who hate Force Awakens. We've got people who hate all Disney, and people who will pick and choose. They like this bit, not so much this bit. There's a lot of different opinions. So I mean, the origins for me is probably like many. After The Last Jedi came out, I kind of in the days and weeks following it, I was kind of felt so disillusioned, and I actually got a bit paranoid. I thought, is it just me? Am I missing something? And it was only through going online and looking at some YouTube reviews, and that's when I came across a lot of the popular names in the Fandom Menace, Ethan and Geeks and Gamers, and many of the others, and I thought, no, there's other people who actually feel the same, and that was actually gave birth to the Ruin Johnson Twitter account. That was just a bit of fun. I thought that would be this will be fun for a few weeks, and there I am 4 years later. 10,000 man babies still following me.
I mean, the thing is, I think it's if you get it, it's quite a supportive idea and concept community wise, and certainly we've had support from people like yourselves and other YouTubers and Twitter users who will kindly share our stuff from time to time, but at some point the split was created, wasn't it, around I don't think it was created by the Fandom Menace at all, but it was certainly created by by The Last Jedi. Did you recognize immediately once you kind of saw the way the tide was turning and how people were feeling about the movie? Like, did you recognize the split right there, or did you feel it was a progression?
Yeah, no, it almost felt like an overnight split. It felt that quick. It felt like we I know not everyone was on board with The Force Awakens, but I think enough people were willing to give it the benefit of the doubt and thought, okay, it's a soft reboot. Yeah, let's see what the next one does. So
Yeah.
it was really critical, and you know, I don't want to give any credit to Ryan Jones, but maybe we could say he had a pretty tough job. You know, he had a really tough job, but there was some simple things he could have done differently, which I think people would have ran with, you know, and the major one being the handling of the Luke character. Well, yeah, the basics of a coherent plot would have helped, but but you know,
and getting
look,
the band back together.
yeah,
I mean, obviously after the Force Awakens, that was impossible to do. That should have been done in the first movie, maybe.
Yeah,
you know, but it's like having the Beatles, but not getting them back together, and then
yeah, and you know, I think as fans, you know, people say, oh, you know, what do you want? You just want Luke to be this heroic character who just slays everyone. It's not what we want at all. We just,
no.
You know, to give you an example of what would have been great is Logan, the handling of the Logan character. You know, and the way that they did it in that film, you know, you saw this older, jaded, worn down character, and you know, you could almost say he was a little bit, you know, grumpy and everything, but he was still true to the same character, and he'd evolved and he changed, but he still had his core values, and people recognized them.
Yeah, you know? He wasn't disrespectful to the character at all.
No. And
I'm hoping that's what we get for Indiana Jones 5. But anyway, carry on.
I know. We'll see.
Same director, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, same, as Logan. Yeah.
Mangold.
Yeah. No, I hope so, because I know you're a massive fan of you know, the Harrison Ford. Yeah,
no, I'm not.
There it is.
I don't care that much about Indiana Jones. I can't put it on with my headphones on, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I hope so. I love those movies as well. But yeah, I think I think what we had, and the reason for all the fallout and the creation of Phantom Menace and everything else, we had a director who went into the project to serve his own ends rather than to serve the franchise and the legacy and the vision. And actually, you know, again, most people hate The Rise of Skywalker, but Rian Johnson gave absolutely no setup for that final movie. It was ridiculous. I mean, at least JJ left The Force Awakens with some kind of setup, and you know, here you go.
It could have gone anywhere really at the end of The Force Awakens.
Yeah, it could have, but that was never a middle movie. What Rian Johnson gave us was an end movie. And
we have everything we need. What are you talking about?
I mean, as the guy watched Empire Strikes Back, you know, you know, any the basic. This is what I can't believe the people who say this guy's a genius and all the other words for him. But you know, it's any trilogy has to follow the basic 3-act structure, and in the middle act there has to be a downward curve where the heroes face adversity, and it's a low point, which then leads to the, you know, the finale, the
triumph at the end.
It's just basic. It's just it you know, and we know there was no planning, there was no collaboration.
I mean that's confirmed, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, undoubted.
What could have possibly made Kathleen Kennedy or Lucasfilm or whatever be so intoxicated with your namesake to just give him over that power to be like, completely do your own thing, like do whatever.
If I can interrupt here for a second,
it's nuts for me.
We've had that Reddit leak this week. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've not seen it. No. I heard you mention it earlier.
Yeah, we've got it somewhere. Paddy will bring it up. But if it's legit and it has to be taken with a pinch of salt.
Do you want me to read a little bit of it?
Is this the Reddit leak?
This is kind of a
just an article.
The whole Reddit leak is quite a long-winded thing, so you'll have to go on and read it. It's like millions and millions of bullet points, basically. But this is a kind of appropriation of some of the points I think made. This is from boundingintocomics.com. Alleged Star Wars leaker claims existence of alternative cut of J.J. Abrams' The Rise of Skywalker. This past weekend, a massive leak about Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy was posted on Reddit. Among many interesting pieces of information, the author of the leak claims that there exists a different cut of J.J. Abrams' fairly divisive Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Before we begin, however, it's important to note that this is in no way confirmed by Disney, Lucasfilm, or anyone involved in the making of the Star Wars trilogy. On top of this, the author deleted their account shortly after creating the post. So take this information with a pinch of salt. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get started before there is quite a lot to cover. This Lucasfilm insider claims that they worked on all three of the movies in the Star Wars trilogy, but noted the sequel trilogy, but noted that they will not disclose who they are. According to the leaker, a different cut of J.J. Abrams' Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker exists in some form, though they note that it is only an assembly cut of what Abrams filmed before reshoots took place. The leaker does admit that it more closely resembles his original vision. Now, from what I understand, there's about 4 hours this thing that they're talking about. Much like the long-requested, recently released Zack Snyder's Justice League, the J.J. Abrams Star Wars Rise of Skywalker cut comes in at 4 hours, yeah. Abrams directed The Force Awakens and stepped down from Disney's trilogy. At that point, Rian Johnson went on to direct The Last Jedi, of course, the greatest Star Wars film ever made. And Abrams finally returned to direct The Rise of Skywalker. The information shared by the insider, however, suggests that not only were Abrams' ideas for The Force Awakens poorly received by the higher-ups at Disney, but also that he was hoping to work with George Lucas. When Abrams initially had hoped to work with George, stated the leaker, that didn't work out. When George walked, JJ had almost attempted the same. Iger stopped him. The leaker also mentions how Ryan was far more helpful with Lucasfilm, working with them instead of against them, only to add that, frankly, this turned out to be a mistake for Ryan due to Lucasfilm being indecisive, obviously. According to the alleged leaker, Abrams had a number of ideas for then newcomer Rey in The Force Awakens, including wanting Rey to be the granddaughter of Anakin, eventually pushing for her to be Luke's daughter he had with a fellow rebel after the war. As revealed by the insider, Abrams' original plan was to reveal that Luke and an unnamed Force archaeologist are Rey's real parents. The theatrical cut of The Rise of Skywalker opted instead to have Rey related to Emperor Palpatine. Abrams' cut would have also seen Rey and Kylo's story being more tragic than initially seen in the theatrical cut. Kylo and Rey's relationship was more tragic, claimed the leaker, with Rey wanting to put him out of his misery and Kylo wanting to be free. Backing up this claim, the leaker added Abrams had seen Kylo as a tragic villain and wanted to tell a story of what if to the redemption of Vader. Ben Solo would have always been redeemed, but only through death. Kylo does not meet his fate at the end of Rise of Skywalker, though one could argue that his redemption came before he took off to face the Emperor when he realized he was still Ben Solo and that there was good inside him. Interestingly enough, Ben Solo has been recently robbed of his redemption arc. Official information recently revealed that it was Rey's forced healing abilities that had transformed, of course, had a transformative effect on Kylo, which helped him to clear his mind and turn him to the light side. Abrams apparently included scenes in which it was hinted that Poe had feelings for Finn. According to the information shared by the leaker, there were hints to Poe's romantic interest in Finn, claims the insider, yet in the end he gave his blessings to Finn and Rey. What's more, the leaker also clarifies that this doesn't necessarily make Poe strictly gay, as Abrams also wanted Poe to have a happy ending with Zoe Bliss, who in the theatrical cut of the movie has a very small role. Poe would end up convincing bounty hunter Zoe to aid the fight with her fellow bounty hunters. The two become mutually interested in each other. The leaker also mentions that George Lucas was in no way involved in the writing process for The Rise of Skywalker, clarifying that all he did was approve some input on the script that Abrams and Chris Terrio, one of the greatest writers of all time, initially worked on, and that he didn't ghostwrite Episode 9. Since there are quite a bunch of details leaked by this alleged Lucasfilm insider, too many to list in this article at least, it is better you check out the thread that was posted this weekend, r/Star Wars speculation subreddit. So we'll leave it there for now, but what are your thoughts on that, Anthony?
Well, I can actually I can share something with you, which will be absolutely no surprise. But when I was preparing for helping Ruin prepare for the Man Baby Challenge later on, I was reading through some trivia, and one of the bits of trivia I found on The Last Jedi was that George Lucas had absolutely zero input on The Last Jedi. Why doesn't that surprise us? You know, he did in The Force Awakens, and he did in lots of, and it might have only been very small. And we read in that article there, there was a little bit of input, but no surprise at all. He had absolutely no input on The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson was given free reign to do what he wants. And look, whatever we think of JJ, really he should have been given the. If you're going to go with JJ, give him the whole trilogy.
Yeah, give him the whole trilogy and give him free reign.
Yeah,
give him the free reign. Yeah.
And let him, this handing of the baton and there being no talking between Rian Johnson and JJ, and Rian Johnson writing his script for The Last Jedi before JJ's finished shooting The Force Awakens, and it's absolutely crazy. And in fact, you've got to look at Kathleen Kennedy as much as the directors, because it's her call, and maybe there's this 4-hour kind of Snyder cut version of The Rise of Skywalker, but we all know it's not going to fix anything. It's the trilogy was broken, as soon as The Last Jedi hit. And
well, before we go there, I'm just going to whip over to the comments for a second. So Andy's been back on to say, our very own Andy, Lucasfilm Star Wars Story Group just gave the directors and writers complete control? ? Unlikely.
No, well, it didn't. Rian Johnson.
Go on to that first.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rian Johnson was basically a yes man for Kathleen Kennedy. That's why. He was
the Rick McCallum of the Disney.
Yeah, I mean, if you take an article seriously, that's what it's saying, isn't it? It's
yeah.
He basically did what Kathleen Kennedy wanted, where JJ, was a bit more awkward with the studio.
It sounds like when you read further into that Reddit thing, it sounds like some of JJ's ideas were actually better, but they were kind of poo-pooed and railroaded by Lucasfilm. But anyway, moving on to Andy's other comment, this kind of delves into that a bit deeper. Never forget, JJ and Kasdan didn't know what to do with Luke Skywalker. They put him on an island at the end of the film without the Force, while Solo was murdered and the Republic home destroyed. So what do you say to that, Anthony? Ruin was set up to fail to a certain extent by JJ himself at the end of the film.
I disagree slightly with that, because as a writer, myself, there's so many ways you can go with the Luke Skywalker that we were given at the end of The Force Awakens. So many ways. I don't accept that. The only way you could have really gone with them was the way Rian Johnson went with them. I just don't accept that. Rian Johnson will tell us that. Rian Johnson say, well, look, this is the only way I could have gone. It's 100% accurate to the character, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not true. There's so many ways you can go. Yeah, there's so many ways you could go. The Luke, someone's done a really good comparison on YouTube, and they did side by side the ending to The Force Awakens and the reshot same scene in The Last Jedi, where they effectively recreated it. Yeah. And it's the tone is totally different. There's Hamill at the end of Force Awakens does this brilliant kind of conflicted look, which you could do so much with, but Rian Johnson's, he decided this is what he was going to do, and the dismantling of Luke, and I just think there's a whole sea of possibilities, and absolutely. Look, JJ could have done more with them in The Force Awakens, but I think I was excited after The Force Awakens for what they'd do at Luke.
I was,
and that probably led to the feelings of so much more despair when we got what we got.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and this, it's kind of interesting, this, because you'll probably understand this, that we felt for quite some time since all of that feeling, which probably wasn't helped a great deal by Rise of Skywalker, but which we can talk about in a moment. We felt that as a show and just generally when talking about Star Wars, that unless we were talking about classic Star Wars or some area of the fandom that excites us, that generally it was becoming a bummer, and we were just falling into rabbit holes of talking about The Last Jedi, then getting pissed off, then it just generally being a negative show and a negative situation when talking about Star Wars, which is something we never wanted to happen.
So we obviously, apart from this show, we've decided to back off.
Yeah, so we
Disney stuff. So exactly, but
we
this
have
is great.
So we've done talking to fans about what is important to them about Star Wars. Like it's been a positive thing in a way, because we've looked at it and we've gone, how can we make it positive now, rather than just going down this rabbit hole all the time. So it is good to talk about it now tonight with you, but we've kind of stepped away from it for a bit. I mean, did you feel like was that instrumental maybe in like taking a break from some of the stuff? You're just like, I need to have a breather from the negativity for a minute, just to remember what I love about it.
Yeah, I mean, the I did a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I actually grew the channel, in a short space of time quite well. And like I said, I did the Fandom Menace show, which, despite what people would say without even listening to a minute of it, was actually very positive. Everyone I had on, it was actually we shared some honest opinions, but there was a lot of positivity. But yeah, the thing I've always done with the Ruin the Man Baby account on Twitter is it's not a bitch fest. I have fun with it. I laugh my arse off at the replies that I get, and it's the only reason I'm still doing it. The way people interact, and we have fun with it. And I think that's what's lost in the other half of the fandom, the ability to actually just have a bit of a laugh, lighten up. I think they're so terrified to, is it okay to laugh at this? Can we do this? Or we, just relax and have a bit of fun. You know what I mean? And so I definitely, I decided I was going to, and I will return to the YouTube stuff, and I'm hoping to do another season of the Fandom Menace show. But I think in all honesty, I expect at some point I'd get banned off Twitter, not for anything I've done, and I've never ever had any kind of strike or suspension, because I don't do any targeted harassment or anything like that. It's fun is all I do. But I just thought they'll find a way to ban me. They've tried quite a lot, and again, I did the infamous Shill Wars about a month or so ago, and every time I do that, it causes
really gets their back up.
It does really gets the back up.
It was a really nice thing for me off the Shill Wars thing, and I know it's all in fun anyway, but anyone who watches this will know I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. So obviously Kevin was one of the shills, because Kevin's a shill for everything. He's just super positive about everything. Yeah. I don't even know whether it's maybe he's a shill. I think he's just super positive anyway. But obviously it keeps him in the good books. But you'd put all that, and I was like, and I replied to it saying, I still love Kevin though, and he actually liked my tweet saying that. Did he? So if nothing else, Ruin the Man Baby, you got me a like from my hero Kevin Smith.
Yeah, well,
so thanks for that.
What's more revealing is I actually was fully aware that he was part of the Shill Wars.
So he did see it, mate. He did see it. Yeah. So let's just quickly go back over to the comments. So Andy Barkoff was on to say, one consistent positive thread throughout 1 to 9, John Williams. 1000%, Andrew.
Everybody, the whole fandom can agree on that one, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
And even as we were saying, the bit little moment we're talking about, Jedi Steps, that piece of music at the end of Force Awakens when we're about to reveal Luke on the island, is it's up there with one of my favorite John Williams pieces. Absolutely beautiful piece of music. Wow, look at this. Drunk 3PO has joined us. He's on to say, I love Ruin, the best thing on Twitter.
Hello, Drunk.
Hello, drunk.
Yeah, you know, I've got to
First
say,
time I've drunk 3PO in the chat.
It is, yeah, brilliant.
drunk. Yeah, I've got to say, I go way back with drunk because when I had the doxing incident. Hello there, we have a renegade man baby joining the stream.
This is Luna, my daughter, who's covered in chocolate for some reason.
Hello,
Yeah.
Luna.
Wave to the boys.
Who's your favorite character, Luna? Is it Ray?
Yes.
Yeah, so drunk.
Yeah, go on.
When I had the doxing incident and Brian Young revealed my identity.
Well,
behind
first of
the
all, let's do a little rewind on
recap.
on the doxing
Yeah.
incident. So
Yeah, sure. So basically, I was happily tweeting away as Ruin the Man Baby, having a bit of fun, taking the piss out of Ryan Johnson and Last Jedi, and Brian Young took it upon himself because he got a little bit upset by it all, and obviously he's shilling hard for Ryan Johnson and Last Jedi. He took upon himself to do a bit of investigation, and through digging back through tweets and everything else, discovered that, you know, I was the person behind the Ruin the Man Baby, and he decided to reveal it to everyone. And not only that, I mean, that okay, do that, whatever. He then started contacting what do you call it? Conferences I'd attended as a writer, and
Really?
yeah.
hang on, rewind on that. He started doing what?
He got in touch with it. So I'd gone to when I was publishing my books. I'd gone to like London Comic Con and various other the UK literature festival and so on.
Right.
And because he worked out this author is behind the Ruin the Man Baby account, he started getting in touch with those events and saying, "Are you aware this author is tweeting as this?" And so I thought, well, there's two ways I can go here. I can either, you know, delete Ruin the Man Baby and all the tweets and think, oh, well, that's screwed me. Or I can say, nah, screw you. You ain't doing this to me. So I did a video where I came on with the mask, and then I tore the mask off and said, well, look, here I am. I'm you know, I have fun with this. I you know, this is me, and yeah, you ain't gonna dox me, mate. And drunk was, you know, he was so supportive, and a lot of the other people within the Fandom Menace really supportive. And yeah, they were like, you know, look, you know, we're behind you on this. What he did to you was awful. And yeah, I did some live streams with Drunk back in the day. And well done to him. He's absolutely exploded on YouTube.
Amazing.
I knew he would because he was so good back
and
in the day.
And he got interviews with Gina Carano.
I know.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
See, Gina Carano is my spirit animal because we've both felt the wrath of the other side of the fandom, although, you know, mine on a much smaller scale. But I can only imagine. So I can't check the mentions in the Ruin the Man Baby account. You know, the Twitter mentions, or the DMs. So people will often say, oh, you know, you didn't see my tweet, or you didn't get my DM. And I know this sounds almost woke, but for my own mental health, if you like, I don't want to check the DMs or the mentions in the Ruin the Man Baby. I get death threats, I get abuse, and I'm just having a bit of fun. So all I do is I'm not going to let it stop me, but I just go, you know what, I'm not going to check the mentions or the DMs. I'll just fire the tweets out. It's amazing. So if I get that as just a Twitter account, I can't imagine what Gina's had to go through, especially when you have the might of Disney kind of blacklisting her. And,
it's crazy.
You know, it's appalling.
But you know what I would say. It kind of connects into what what we were saying before. Is that like what was I saying? I've completely lost the thread of what I was going to say. She's kind of had she's had the other side of it, hasn't she? Like no, that was what I was going to say. Finally, Star Wars returned to some kind of positivity. We all had that moment, you know, we got the bucket of cold piss poured on us by Pablo, of course, but you know, we all had that positive moment, and they could have the Luke Skywalker moment, they could have ridden the crest of that wave. However, you know, we got the cold buckets of water poured on it. Then right off the back of it, the firing of Gina Carano, and that's
over
soured the
Mm.
Mandalorian now.
Yeah.
So
It was look. First thing first, let's just take politics right out of the equation. You know,
Yes.
whatever your views and wherever they are. I mean, the one thing I'll never do on the Ruin the Man Baby account is I don't do politics, because
No,
I don't care. You know, wherever you believe and wherever your views in the real world, that's fine. The Ruin the Man Baby account, it's fun, and I'll never get into politics. So leaving that aside, because I know people will say, oh look, there's certain views and things which are not aligned with the Disney brand, but what Gina did was absolutely no different to what Pedro did. They almost did the exact same thing. They put out a tweet which drew comparisons, which some people thought, look, it's not really appropriate or whatever. But one was completely just, we're fine with that. No, nothing at all.
Nothing.
And the other was, we can get rid of her now. And that lady's got, forgive the term, but she's got balls of steel. And I know Gina Carano because I'm a massive MMA fan. And I know Gina Carano from years ago when she was doing her MMA stuff, and she is a tough lady, and I think like I say, whatever your feelings are on politics, I don't even go there. I just think this is someone who was a great character, great actress. A lot of people related to it. It's really popular, and I just think I just find it appalling.
Absolutely.
I just think
season 3, I think, for a lot of people. Plus, you can't get the figures and all that stuff. It's just it's gone completely out of control.
Cancelled, like properly shunned.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But that's where we are. But just quickly over to the comments again. Where were we? Oh yeah. So this is from 6 related to Brian Young, I think. He ended up blocking me when I thanked him for introducing me to a talented author. Fantastic. So Drunk was most amused by that, I think, as well. 6. I had no idea people were still coming after you.
The most. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of abusive stuff, and like I say, believe it or not, death threats and things like that. But it's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. But the funniest one, or the most regular one I get is, it's been 4 years. Can't you just move on? And I just think, no, you're missing the joke. The longer I do this, the funnier it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And to be honest, the more that people say, it's been 4 years, can't you stop doing this? The more it makes me determined to carry it on. So
100%. Well, because you're straight into spaced territory then, aren't you? The Phantom Menace was 18 months ago, Tim. It still hurts, Bilbo.
I mean, the great thing about it is Rian Johnson just doesn't go away. There's never, he's always popping up, and whether it's with the Knives Out stuff or whether he makes a random comment saying, "Yeah, the trilogy's still coming, by the way," and it just, it all comes flooding back, and he really is the gift that keeps on giving. So
it certainly is.
And it's not just the fandom who bring it up; it's the mainstream press as well. Like, the fandom aren't riled up at the moment, so we'll do a little article on Rian Johnson's trilogy or something, and we'll get the internet set alight again.
It's going to be so interesting to see what excuse they come up with when we never get this trilogy. And the funniest thing is, people like Brian Young, I mean, he went on a tweet storm recently saying, Rian Johnson's trilogy was always going to come after the Benioff and Weiss, which has been cancelled. So I don't know what his point was there, but there's people who actually still believe that's in the schedule and it's going to happen. Let's all be honest here. The guy never had any kind of vision or outline for a Star Wars trilogy beyond a vague idea he pulled out of his arse in the middle of an interview. Exactly. Kathleen Kennedy, before the Last Jedi was released, thought he was the best thing since sliced bread and said, yeah, we'll give you a trilogy. And then since then, I think, you know, he's gone off done his own thing with Knives Out. I've not seen it. Apparently people like it, and you know, he's doing quite well. So
I was quite surprised that it was a decent movie, actually.
Yeah, I've not seen it yet, but yeah, apparently it's pretty good.
It came up on Prime for free, so I gave it a whirl. But yeah, it's not a bad movie. So coming back to the comments, Andy said, I was crying too much at Luke's return to feel Pablo's cold bucket of piss. So that's not exactly what you said, but I'm just paraphrasing. So fair enough, mate. Six said exactly, Andrew. Drunk 3PO was agreeing about Gina, that she's fantastic. She's great.
She is. And, you know, look, anyone... again, I hate that to support Gina, you're put into this. Well, then you must be this side of politics.
Yeah, of course.
That's not. I don't even consider her politics no more than I consider Mark Hamill's politics or any of the others. I mean, you know, we really have to separate politics from the artist and the artistry.
We do.
And
what you don't understand, Anthony, is that you are either black or white. There are no shades of grey in this planet anymore.
Yeah.
So how dare you?
Yeah. No, that's the shame of it. And I just think what made Gina really credible was because of her background in MMA. This is my feelings anyway. When she did those fight scenes, and you know, she's quite a built lady, Gina. You know, you can see that frame, and it made her really credible. You know, and I thought, wow, this is such a good character. And I think it's a hell of a loss. And tell you something though, because I know both of you guys are into your memorabilia and figurines and so on. There's a batch of Gina Carano figures made. They're going to be the most sought after figures.
Yes.
If you can get your hands on them.
They're already going crazy. It's crazy. It's mental.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Where do you see The Mandalorian going now without Gina Carano? I mean, it's put a lot of people off, you know.
Before we go there, Matt, just quickly, I'll just jump back over to the comments 1 sec. So Six was saying, oh my God, I wish we could move on from what he said. And he also said, Ryan's upcoming trilogy will be mentioned in his eulogy. Look forward to Ruins.
Ryan Johnson's headstone will say, Ryan Johnson, speech marks, still in discussions with Disney. Yeah. It's
the future director of the next Star Wars trilogy.
We'll have Ryan Johnson's headstone, and next to him, Giodi the Rock will be the...
That'll be the headstone, won't it?
That will be the headstone. I'm very, very excited about that character. I'm very, very excited. Oh, sorry, Six. Six is a she. I do apologise.
You failed to establish the pronouns, Paddy. You're now banned.
I failed to establish the pronouns from a number. Sorry about that. Coming back round to Matthew's question, if you want to continue.
Yeah. As I was saying, now Gina Carano has been booted from Disney and Lucasfilm. I mean, she was a very popular character.
Yeah.
Cara Dune. Where does he go?
She was also really the main female lead, which you know, the one thing Disney's been good at, you know, and I like to try and be a bit balanced. And in the podcast I did, we always look for things that we could kind of, you know, say, look, this was interesting, this was good. They've represented females quite well. Now I know some would say pendulum swung too far the other way, and it's, you know, support women and but I genuinely think they had a credible character and actress in Gina Carano and Cara Dune, and I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it's been announced or they've even decided they're going to recast it. Or I would have thought it's better not to recast, but to write her out and then probably write in another female character. That would be the way to go.
I think she did have that other TV series lined up, which she was going to be in. And I think they've decided to. I don't know what's going to happen with that TV series, but when it's the Mandalorian, when the Mandalorian's concerned, they're not going to recast her. She's just not going to be part of the series going forward. Ignored, I should assume. basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that tells you how popular the character was. They were considering her own series.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've just pulled in. On the one hand, fair, it must be, what might have been. But on the other hand, she's been true to herself. She's not been, bullied into silence or into a position she wasn't comfortable with.
Yeah.
And I took the time to actually read the tweets and some of the things she's accused of, and people accuse her of things without actually taking any time to understand what she was saying, and some of it may be a little bit clumsily put, or but there was nothing in there which was racist or transphobic or anything like that. I promise you that it was.
Not only that, I mean, Time magazine basically sent out a tweet recently that said exactly the same thing as what she said in that tweet.
Yeah,
nothing. That's okay.
Yeah. She's posted tweets since, and she's explained her position, and everything else. But I think it's a hell of a loss, and I think I actually think, I don't know how you guys feel, but I noticed a significant shift in the fandom when they cancelled of Gina Carano. I think there's a lot of people who are, on the one side, you've got the really pro-Disney fans. On the other side, you've got maybe the likes of ourselves. But I think there's a big area in the middle who thought, hang on, this isn't right. And I think Disney really shot themselves in the foot with that move.
Yeah, I do too.
It's like they were kind of, it's like they were making amends in the split almost with The Mandalorian. And things were starting to come together, and like you say, with the Luke Skywalker moment, and then it was like they had, they had the ultimate force power in the grasp of their hands, and they've lost it again.
Recently,
their fault.
Katie Sackhoff, who plays the Mandalorian not the Mandalorian, I can't remember the name of the character off the top of my head.
Yes.
She was talking about that scene in the last episode of The Mandalorian where it's all the women walking through, shooting stormtroopers and all this sort of stuff. And she basically said that scene worked because nobody talked about it as being, it's a scene full of strong female characters. People just liked it. Don't big it up as something special because it's just a great scene. It's when people start to virtue signal and people go, oh, come on, what are you doing? It's...
You've hit the nail on the head, and I like to use Rogue One as an example of where you can do diversity really well, but not make a big fanfare out of it. So in Rogue One, we had all these characters from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different beliefs and everything else, but that made sense within the story of the film because it was this ragtag band of rebels from all parts of the galaxy and so on. So no one ever questioned it. We kind of accepted, well, that would naturally be the case. But it's when and I know people don't like the phrase forced diversity, but it's when it's kind of done with too heavy a hand. When you've got in Solo a robot shouting droid rights, and it's clumsy, and it's insulting to the fans' intelligence. Actually,
Anthony, don't get me started on Solo.
Paddy, have you seen it? Did you ever watch it?
I have seen it once, and I never want to see it again. And Han Solo is my favorite character.
I know. Well, yeah.
Yes, it's a very sore point in the O'Hare household.
The air must have been blue throughout the 2 hours of that movie.
Mate, I'm not going to do the solo rap. We will do this one night. We'll do a solo.
We'll do a solo rewatch. We said we'd do it. We'll do it.
We will do that, and you have a plan to do something else, which is going to be great fun.
Yeah.
But Andy can testify to this that I really from the beginning thought it was a bad idea, but Andy will always be is always the organized man who gets the tickets for the first night and ensures that we're all there watching it. So he got the tickets, and we bobbed along there. I remember, I'm sat down watching it, and the first scene was problematic anyway. I was just like, this the acting's terrible. But I remember the one point was the moment when he goes to join the he goes to join the Empire.
Oh yes.
And they say, blah blah blah. What's your name? Han. He goes, what's your second name? I haven't got one. Okay, you're on your own. Okay, you're called Solo. Right.
Solo.
Now for a start, for a start, I mean, they must have been up all fucking night thinking that one up. But Andy can testify to this. At that moment, as soon as those words, "Oh, then you're called Solo," left his lips, apparently, I don't know if I stood up, but I certainly said out loud, "Fuck off" to the screen in the middle of the screening, which goes some way to let you know how much hatred I have for that film.
Yeah, I
But
cringe at the thought of reliving that scene.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. I just don't want to see it again. Don't want to see it again, mate. Don't want to see it again. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Brian, of course, has come up with something inappropriate. Just before we go there, Andy was on to say, I read the title of an article and made my judgment immediately. Welcome to social media.
Yeah.
That's right. So, Brian, just closely related to the point on Solo, did you not appreciate the shower scene? Yes, I'd spent so long dreaming about Han and Chewie that I finally got my dream of a shower scene. That was fantastic. That's true. He did. Yes,
Can you imagine?
Stand up and shout that in the screening. Hang on. Sorry. They did a lot of patting each other on the backs for that line.
Oh my word.
Go on, mate. What are you saying?
No, I was going to say, can you imagine if you could try and for one moment try and just block out everything we've seen in Disney? Can you imagine if your future self or your current self could go back in time and tell yourself sort of pre-2015, right, there's going to be new Star Wars come out, it's going to be made by Disney, it's going to be all the money in the world, all the best writers, directors, and we're going to have Luke suckling green milk from the tit of an alien space cow. We're going to have Han Solo in a shower with Chewbacca.
Wrestling with Chewie.
Yeah, and just the whole, the list goes on. You'd just be like,
"What? Get out of here!"
Yeah, and we actually had that. We had that, and it's.
We did. That's right, Andy. We did have that. Well, listen, I know we need to get to the Man Baby Challenge, and I'm conscious of time rolling along. Which is great. I mean, I can do this stream all night. I don't care. I can talk about these things for ages. Now, unfortunately, we didn't really get to. I wanted to kind of do almost a version of your Star Wars interview where we go back about your favorite things about Star Wars and that kind of stuff. Maybe that's for another time. But I wanted to ask you about this because from where I left off with your Fandom Menace show and the fact that the three of us haven't spoken for, a couple of years, really, which is nuts when you think about it. It feels like 5 minutes ago. But we haven't actually discussed The Rise of Skywalker. It was still at I think we'd maybe seen one trailer or, the movie wasn't out yet last time we spoke. So I just want to do a bit on, was it, yes, it attempted to fix some of the mistakes of The Last Jedi, but for me in general, it was kind of a mess. Andy actually think it is his least favorite of all of them. He thinks it's terrible. I'm not far behind. But I watched it twice at the cinema, and then long story short, I got a 3D secondhand old 3D TV and started getting the 3D disc, and I stuck the 3D on Rise of Skywalker, and I got halfway through and probably fell asleep or whatever. And I don't think I've put it back on again. So what did it do for you, The Rise of Skywalker, Anthony?
Yeah, so I went to the midnight screening, not through sheer excitedness, and I can't wait to get my eyes on this thing.
Did you do the three? Did you do like
no films? Hell no! I'm not a sadist.
I think we were a sadist. We did that. Yeah.
No, I went along on my own for a midnight screening, and then I did a kind of a brief live reaction at about 2-3 in the morning, and then I did a full review. Yeah, God, where to start? So, okay, I'll give you the best thing I can. The best way of summon the Rise of Skywalker was on my second view, and I went along with someone who isn't a Star Wars fan, and they enjoyed it.
Right.
And I think that probably says it all. It's, maybe on its own, some of the, the space scenes and some of the action scenes. And if you're a non-Star Wars fan, just as a standalone action movie, bit of light-hearted popcorn fun, maybe it's fine. Maybe it's okay. But it's meant to be the third movie in a trilogy or the 9th movie in a 40-year saga. It's meant to. Yeah, and it just didn't do it. Yeah, no. and again, I won't get into too much, but right from the opening kind of space hopping scene, so light speed hopping, and some of the plot threads that are kind of Ochi's shit, weird plot threads. The biggest one for me was the Knights of Ren. When I first saw them in Force Awakens, I thought, oh, these guys look pretty cool. They're there, the menacing, the kind of in the rain and everything. I thought, wow, we didn't get to see him at all in the Last Jedi. Thanks, Ryan. And then we finally get to see him in the Rise of Skywalker, and they're absolutely pathetic. And it's just an example of the whole the dyad thing and the whole Exegol and the bringing back Palpatine and God bless Ian Dermot. I mean, he does a fantastic job. And look, if we're going to pick out,
did you mean Star Wars: The Rise of the Goonies?
Oh yeah, holding up the. Oh yeah, that looks about right. And then Rey, who by the way grew up on a desert planet, never seen water, but she's an awesome swimmer in The Last Jedi, and then an expert sailor in The Rise of Skywalker.
She can do everything.
Yeah.
Mary Sue, where are you?
Do you think JJ was trying to please everybody?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, because there was some again heavy-handed lines where it was clearly a rebuffal of what Rian Johnson was doing. I think of the I can't remember the guy's name, the guy who was in Lost and Lord of the Rings. I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
the guy. Yeah, where he said when they were all gathered round, he said, "Oh, the hold-on manoeuvres once in a million. We can't pull that one off again." And it was clearly JJ kind of saying, "Oh well, look, Rian Johnson did this thing," and everyone's saying, "Well, why doesn't everyone just use light speed ramming?" And he was trying to kind of backtrack on that, and then he had the scene with Force Ghost Luke, and oh no, a Jedi should never discard his lightsaber, and wherever it
was obvious what was going on.
Yeah,
really,
it was obvious.
The rise of retcon.
What we got to see was effectively two directors arguing over which way to go, rather than a coherent trilogy. And what a bloody shame,
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Here we go. So going over to the comments, your bosom buddy Brian Young is saying, I enjoyed some parts of Troz in the same way you might enjoy watching your team stringing 3 successive passes together in the last 5 minutes of a European tie when you're already 8-1 down on aggregates.
Perfect analogy. Yeah.
It was a beautiful... For somebody who doesn't understand football, that was completely lost on me, Brian. No, it's okay. I got it. But let's not talk about the offside rule because you'll lose me at that point. Anyway, Andy, if you try to please everyone, you please no one.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen, I honestly think it felt rushed to me, The Rise of Skywalker. I think
you got to move on.
They should have just said, look, we need another year or whatever. Let's face it, there's no fixing after The Last Jedi. But yeah, it was.
It was a mess. Well, interesting to go back to some of the stuff on that Reddit thing. I think they do even discuss the Knights of Ren and what his initial plans were for that. It seems to me that it could be bullshit. We all know that these things online can be bullshit, but it seems to me that he had more interesting ideas that were kind of diluted by Lucasfilm, or were just like, no, you need to go in this direction instead. So then we got what I've always said is the problem with modern Hollywood now is that, you know, but one of my favorite eras of the 70s the movies was the 70s, where, you know, you had interesting looking character actors, great stories with the you know, no need for resolution at the end, dark endings, ballsy plots. Whereas now, you know, we have and you know, the heads of studios or whatever giving the reins over to the creative and saying, you know, do your own thing. I'll back you all the way. Whereas now we have this kind of this by committee affair, which just
Studio
you know,
getting involved too much.
which just you know, creates the dilution of the original idea and of use to no bugger. I'm not going to do politics, but kind of like Parliament. A good idea goes in and comes out a shadow of its former self.
Well, look, you've just said it. It's by committee, and nothing. You know, the whole adage, "Too many cooks spoil the broth." What we had with Lucas movies was a one man's vision, and everyone working towards that. But ultimately, it was Lucas' vision. What works well with the Mandalorian is the Favreau and Filoni. Okay, there's two of them, but they're very much aligned and they're working together. But then what you've got with
it seemed to be a good partnership. It's like Lennon and McCartney, you know.
Yeah, and you know, like, you know, if you you know, say what you will about Game of Thrones, but Benioff and Weiss, you know, they work. They've got a shared vision. You know, there's no conflict, but we had the opposite with the trilogy, the sequel trilogy. We had JJ and Rian Johnson with completely different visions, and yeah, it should have just been one man, one vision, and you know, let's plot it all out. Let's know where we're going, and let's all work towards that. And instead, we got to. Yeah.
So back over to the comments before we move on. Six was even say even bad pizza. I wanted to say sex, but I'm new to the channel, so I don't know where the line is. It's still pizza, but unfortunately, bad Star Wars is like an enema with bad wire. That's quite a striking image there, Six. Thank you very much for that. Andy, remember, kids, it doesn't matter if it's of high quality, only if it makes money. Mark Hamill.
Yes, I remember that interview.
He said that his Oxford address, didn't he? I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, Anthony, thank you very, very much for joining us. But I'm afraid there's only space for one ego on in the guest space on this show, so we're going to move along. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience before your departure, sir?
No, only just thank you guys. I mean, it's been way too long, hasn't it? We all said, you know, it felt like, you know, a few weeks ago when we did the podcast, and it's been like a year and a half or something. So I always enjoy chatting through shit with you guys, particularly Star Wars. So we should do it more regularly. And I know we talked before we came live about a couple of plans we've got. We said a while back about a solo rewatch, but can I tempt the audience, Paddy, with what I mentioned? Matty, so what I suggested, we are this December will be the 4-year anniversary of The Last Jedi. So I suggested, brace yourselves, a rewatch party where we do a little fan commentary, and obviously I'll ask my mate Ruin to get involved and give you his director's take on things. So yeah, maybe a Christmas special Last Jedi rewatch piss take if you're up for that.
Sounds good to me.
It sounds good. It sounds fun. Definitely.
We'll make that happen. Nice one. Excellent. We'll do that. So thanks very much, Anthony. Guys, we'll leave some information in the comments box as well if you're looking to check out Ruin the Man Baby. And of course, Anthony, before you go, just give us a plug on your. We touched on it briefly. I wanted to get into it more, but again, we're just running away with ourselves. Give us just a little plug on your author work before you get out of here.
Yeah, so I've wrote a number of novels. You'll find them all under the name Anthony Ergo. So if you Google me, you'll find my stuff on there. It's all on Amazon and the rest of it. So yeah, if you're interested in that stuff, there's trailers and all kinds of stuff on YouTube for it. But yeah, that's no longer appearing at certain writing conventions, unfortunately, thanks to Brian Young. But no, that's all good. But but if you want to check it out, I'd appreciate it.
Those out.
Other than that, obviously, I've got my Ruin the Man Baby stuff, and join in the fun on Twitter while it lasts.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all in jest.
Well, thanks very much, Anthony, and we're going to welcome back Ruin Johnson soon. So cheers for joining us, and may the force be with you, mate.
May the force be with you.
All the best.
Oh, hello, man babies. How are you doing?
Welcome
Long time
back,
no
Ruin.
see.
Yes.
Did you have a nice barbecue? Did you share a couple of porgs with Brian? How did it go?
Yes, fresh out of the jacuzzi. It was very nice. A little bit cold out there, but nevertheless, always good.
Freshly fried sausages.
Yes, and then we got in the shower. It was a bit like Chewie and Han. We were scrubbing each other's backs. Yes, but anyway, I've changed. I'm fresh, and I'm ready to go. And more importantly, are you boys ready? This is champion versus champion. It reminds me of like a WWF tag team suddenly going heel on each other and turning against each other. It's going to be very interesting. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Very, very excited. I mean, to be honest, we probably should have done it at the top of the show because I've had a few beers now. But
no, he's getting the excuses in.
Yes,
excuses in now. Let's go. I'm loose. Let's do it. Welcome to the Man Baby Challenge. Here we go.
Okay, so just for those who maybe are not familiar, the Man Baby Challenge is a series of 10 questions, all on my perfect movie, The Last Jedi. But the whole point of the quiz is to get the question wrong. So when you were on my podcast, you were both absolutely wonderful in that you got every single question wrong, therefore scoring 100% and made you the ultimate man baby. So it's a multiple choice question. You have to get the question wrong to score a point. Whoever gets the most points at the end of the 10 questions will be the world champion of the man baby. So it's a lot on the line here, boys. I hope you're ready for this. Okay, so the real challenge is whether I can read the goddamn questions. So let's see. Okay. Right, are you ready?
We're ready.
Ready when you are.
Question number 1. Who had more screen time in The Last Jedi? Was it A, the Tico sisters, or was it B, Chewie, C-3PO, R2-D2, and Yoda? So it's 4 characters versus 2. Some of our original heroes versus the Tico sisters. But which had the most screen time? And you've got to get the question wrong.
Right.
Who had the most screen time? I would say.
Oh, they're taking it very seriously.
Go on, Pat.
Oh, he wants you to go first.
He wants me to go first. I would say it's the OT characters.
You think the OT characters had the most screen time?
Yes.
Hoping that you're wrong, of course. Now, Matty, that doesn't force you to go with the other answer. You can match if you wish. It's entirely up to you. I'm hoping at some point you'll differ. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a washout. But entirely up to you.
Well, I was going to go with the OT characters too.
Okay, so, that's fine. Yeah. Is that what you'd like to do? Okay, so
we'll swap who goes first on each
yes,
round,
we'll do that. We'll interchange. Okay, so I can reveal the Tico sisters. Now you'll remember Paige only had a very small segment at the start of the movie, but the Tico sisters had a combined 17 minutes 15 seconds, whereas our original heroes, Chewie, C-3PO, R2-D2, and Yoda, had 10 minutes 15 seconds. So you're both wrong, and you both score a point on the board. You're very good at this, I must point out. sometimes wonder whether you're secretly watching The Last Jedi more than you let on. You know, it does seem you know what you're talking about. But anyway, okay. Question number 2. What was the first scene I came up with for The Last Jedi? Was it A, Kylo Ren smashing Vader's helmet? I'm not being metaphorical there. I mean literally smashing the Darth Vader helmet. Or was it that joke goes out to 6? She likes a smutty joke. Or was it B? Was it BB-8 thrusting his domed head to fix the X-wing?
Right. So what was the first scene?
The first one was Kylo Ren smashing Vader's helmet, or was it BB-8 thrusting his head into the X-wing? Which one did I conceive first? But I want the wrong answer.
BB-8. BB-8 doing his head thing.
Okay, Matty's gone early.
Matty
really wants this title.
I'm going to go with that one as well.
Oh, they're matching. So I can tell you, the first scene I conjured up in my genius round head was BB-8 thrusting his head. So you both got it right, which means you both score a 0. Oh. It's the first question you've ever got wrong in the, or rather, you failed to score in the Man Baby Challenge. So it's going to get interesting. We stay at 1 apiece. Can you believe that of all the fantastic scenes, that was the first thing that I concocted up? What a brilliant mind I have.
The scene was obviously the milk scene. You know.
Well, of
course. I thought that should have been the first.
Okay, moving on. Question 3. What was my favourite set in The Last Jedi? Was it A, crate, or was it B, the throne room?
Your favourite set?
My favourite set, yes. This is all verified, of course, by interviews and online resources.
Okay.
Having known a little bit, I think I will go for your favourite being the throne room.
Okay. I'll go the opposite.
Oh, we have alternating opinions. Okay, so my favourite scene in The Last Jedi, my favourite set was the throne room, which means, Paddy, you were right. Matty, you got it wrong, and Matty scores the point. We have a 2-1 lead to Matty.
Do you know, I confused myself a little bit there because I had in my head, like, he was clearly obsessed with the trailers and stuff, and the poster campaign was all that red thing.
Yes, indeed.
And I was like, great, represent the red thing for me. But then I was like, oh, the throne room was red as well. So you shot myself in the foot there.
Put more thought into that than I did the whole of the script for The Last Jedi, Paddy. Okay, moving on. 2-1 to Matty. Still plenty of questions. Here we go. Oof. Question 4. Which character had their scenes cut to just 1 day's work on my movie? Was it A, Maz Kanata, or was it B, Admiral Akbar? Now, of course, both had very limited screen time.
Who's going first?
You go first, Paddy.
Who had the most? It was Admiral Akbar or sorry, who?
It was Maz Kanata or Admiral Akbar, and I'm asking who had their scenes cut to just 1 day's work. So originally had a much a bigger segment in the movie, but was drastically cut down.
And the wrong answer would be Maz Kanata.
Okay, I'll go Admiral Akbar.
Admiral Akbar, okay. Again, they've gone different. This is interesting. So the correct answer is Maz Kanata. Paddy, you got it right. Score 0. Matt, you got it wrong, which scores you another point. You take a 3-1 lead.
It's so funny because it's so funny because we talked about the Admiral Akbar scene when we did the Fandom Mini show with you. Anyway, go on.
Oh dear. Okay. Right, let's try this one on for size. Question 5. What is my cameo in The Last Jedi? Is it A, a hand pulling down the dice in the Falcon, or is it B, a hand holding the milk bottle to the Thala Siren's teat? Both may seem ridiculous, but one of them was actually my cameo in the film, and I want the wrong answer. And
Nice.
I forget who's first. Matty first. He's gone dice. Paddy.
Yeah, I mean,
I want the wrong answer.
I feel like he had so much disrespect for anything OT that, although ego, yeah, the wrong answer I think would be this stupid fucking milk thing.
So my cameo in The Last Jedi was the hand pulling down the dice. Matt, you got it right. You score 0. Paddy, you got it wrong. You score a point. 3-2, Matty. We're getting interesting. Okay. Question 6. And this is an over or under question. You'll see what I mean in a moment. So staying on the Thala Siren, the space cow creature, how much did it cost? So I'm putting a figure of $2.5 million, and I want an over or under. Do you think it costs more or less? And I want the wrong answer.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think it's Paddy to go first.
Sorry, go again. I'm pissed at this point.
Yes, and it does get confusing. It's a bit like following the plot of one of JJ's movies. So I'm asking you, the Thala Siren, and I'm giving you a figure of $2.5 million. Do you think it costs more or less? Wrong answer.
Ooh. For the wrong answer, it costs more.
You're saying it costs more.
I'll go less.
And Matty's going less. They really are clashing here. So let's have a look. The correct answer is less. It was 2.4 million. So that means Paddy, I believe, gets the point, levels it up at 3 apiece. Side note, can you believe
costs
that?
More than Jabba the Hutt. What
that
the fuck?
Rubber piece of shit cost 2.4 million. It was actually had to be flown to the island by helicopter. They had to employ countless number of puppeteers, all to take the piss out of Mark Hamill. I say money well spent. Anyway, there we go.
Well done, Ruin.
Okay, question 7, and I believe this is so exciting. We're 3 apiece, 3 questions to go. Paddy's semi-drunk. Let's see how we go.
Semi-drunk 3PO.
What was my original opening scene for The Last Jedi? So my original draft had an opening scene. Was it A, Finn in the back of the tank? Or was it B, Luke tossing the lightsaber? What was my original opening for my perfect movie?
The original opening was Luke tossing the lightsaber.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Are you going to concur, Matty?
I'll concur.
Okay, so you've both said Luke tossing the lightsaber. You're both wrong. Therefore, you both score 4-all. Oof. This is getting interesting.
This is getting tense. This is getting tense now, man. Question
8. I asked JJ to change The Force Awakens so that R2 accompanies Rey to Acto. And that was so he could have more time in my movie. But how much screen time did R2 have? Was it 85 seconds or 55 seconds? And I want the wrong answer.
85.
85 or 65 seconds?
Or 55. Either way.
85 or 55.
Paltry amount of time for a legendary character. It's an actual embarrassment. But what an absolute shame we can count it on 2 digits, the amount of seconds a legendary character has.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 55 for the wrong answer.
Okay, here we go. 4 apiece. The correct answer is 85.
All right.
Matty fails to score. Paddy takes a lead.
Good.
5-4. This is so exciting. It's more exciting than the crate scene in my movie.
You realise if I win, this will be the end of Club Star Wars.
Matty's going to throw his headset down. He's going to get Kylo emo
Throw the
Ren and
mouse over the shoulder.
smash
going
up
to-
his merchandise. And
He's going to throw his Rose Tico toys out of the pram.
Yes.
Oh, hang
Okay.
on, Six. Hang on, Six. What are you saying here? Paddy looks like he's Googling the answer.
Oh.
No,
Well,
I'm not.
well,
I'm also-
he won't have
I'm
much
al-
joy because I've made all this shit up. So
My
you
hands
won't
are
find the
here.
answers in it.
And I'm also producing the show, just so you know. Anyway, go on.
Okay. Question
I'll put
9. There's only one in it. How many sets were made for my perfect movie? Was it A, and we have a big difference between these two answers, was it A, 125, or was it B, 7?
125.
Yeah, how many sets for my perfect
I'll
movie?
say 125.
You were diving in with 125, okay?
Yeah.
As the wrong answer. That's your opinion. You would think Paddy's on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He's really agonizing over his answers.
I am.
There's more thought gone into this than there is the entire sequel trilogy.
How many sets? I'm just trying to visualize the movie.
He's trying to count each
Don't
individual.
do that. You'll give yourself
Yes.
an aneurysm.
You'll have nightmares.
I think the wrong answer is 125.
Okay, so you concur on this one. It's going to go to the last question. I didn't prepare a tie break, but anyway, no, let's not worry about that. So
You
you've
can
both
come
gone
on.
125. You're actually both right. It was
Really?
125 different sets on The Last Jedi. Yes, he went absolutely batshit crazy, and
Didn't see any
yes,
of them. I would say
Yes.
seven sets were on screen.
125 different sets apparently.
Wow.
So that brings us to the last question, and I believe Paddy just has a 1-point lead. I'll have to think of some goddamn tie break if we do level it. But okay, here we go. Question 10. I love this question. What do the letters DJ stand for in the character's name? Now, this is an actual proven fact because it's written on his cap in Aurebesh. So this is a really interesting bit of trivia. So, is it A, Dead Jedi, or is it B, Don't Join? And I want the wrong answer, and I'm not sure who's due to answer first. I hope you guys are keeping track.
Go on, Paddy.
What were the names again?
It's either A, Dead Jedi, or B, Don't Join. Wrong answer, please. And no pressure, but the title of the Man Baby Challenge Champion is on the line.
The wrong answer would be Dead Jedi.
Okay, Matty. Put you in a tricky position because obviously if you concur, you kind of lose by default.
I'll say Don't Join.
You're going with Don't Join. Okay, here we go. It's all on the line. It's come down to this one question. Feels like The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's been a mighty clash. Okay. The correct answer, and remember, I'm looking for the wrong answer. The correct answer is Don't Join, which means, Paddy, you got it wrong. You win by 2 points. You are the Man Baby Challenge Champion. What an honor. You've proven you know absolutely fuck all about The Last Jedi. What a titanic battle. I'm so proud of you, Man Baby.
Well done, Paddy. I'm proud of you, man.
Very much.
You know a lot more about The Last Jedi than I do.
It's been fun. It's been fun. We've got 2 years out of it. It's been good.
Well done. What a great matchup it was, and obviously I will send you your prize, which is some tickets to Galaxy's Edge and a preview of my script for the trilogy. It'll all be in the post to you, Paddy.
Brilliant.
Let's do
wait.
some. Let's do some final. Thank you very much. Let's do some final comments. Ruin, you spent more time writing these questions than you did writing The Last Jedi. I think you may have. Alluded
Yes.
to that.
Right.
Super Rebel, we'd not heard from before. 6. Remember, bombs fall in space. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
Forget about gravity in the Star Wars universe. 6, damn joke. Super Rebel. 6. Congrats, Paddy. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Yes, well done.
Well,
well done.
I hope you will
I am
join us
happy
again.
for
You can find Club Star Wars here every Wednesday from 8 p.m. GMT, and yeah, we're just we usually hang out, discuss some Star Wars, drink some beers.
Regular guests.
We have sometimes regular guests. Sometimes we have a structure. Sometimes we kind of keep it loose. Future guests coming up. We do have Stephen Costantino, who was one of the Gamorrean guards in Return of the Jedi, who will be joining us
my
very, very soon.
Film.
Oh, Return! Yes, of course. And I know it's Anthony's favorite one. Sorry, Ruin. I don't know what your favorite Star Wars film is. I suspect it was The Last Jedi. But...
I was going to ask what the hell is a Gamorrean guard. I've never heard of it, and I have no idea what you're talking about now. I presume it's Star Trek or something. I don't know.
It was yes. Battle Star Wars Galacta Trek. I think it was. We were discussing, but thank you very much, Ruin, for stepping down from your plinth.
It's been a pleasure
to do the Man Baby Challenge once again.
Yeah.
And thank you very, very much for sharing your audience and for all of our new viewers who've joined us this evening. Please,
yes, and please subscribe,
subscribe, and
hit
share.
The like, smash the like button, as they say.
And we'll see you next time for the SmackDown. So thank you very much, Ruin. And hang on, we've got one last comment. Great show, everybody. Thank you very much, 6.
Thank you, 6.
Bye-bye, 6. And it's only right that as a female, I call 6 a big giant man baby. So listen up, you man baby.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And may the force be with you all. We'll catch you very, very soon. Good night.
See you next week.